Welcome to RCCA's Community Connections. I'm Tom Laux, and today in the studio I have Suzanne Ankenbrandt, and we're going to talk about a program called the Ombudsman. And I'm going to turn it right over to her. She's going to introduce herself, so take it away.
Okay, thanks, Tom. I am with the state of Wisconsin with the Volunteer Ombudsman Program. We are part of the Board on Aging and Long-Term Care State Agency. There's actually three parts of our agency. We have our ombudsman. Those are our professional ombudsmen. Then we have our volunteer program, which I am part of. And then we have what's called the Medigap. So those people are very important too. For example, people that are interested in Medicare and that sort of thing. We have 800 numbers. So, you know, we're a total resource for the 60 and older population here in the state of Wisconsin.
Primarily, you work here in central Wisconsin that covers Marshfield, Stevens Point, Wisconsin Rapids, and a few more communities.
Lincoln County, Marathon County, Wapaka. So we've got a good chunk of the central Wisconsin area. And we're always looking for volunteers. And the thing that we look for especially is people that are concerned about the elderly and that can communicate. Some people get in and they just kind of clam up. That's, you know, they have to be able to have a certain degree of confidence and ability to communicate. The other thing that I especially want to mention to our viewers is that the first thing that we do before people are even allowed to come to our program is that they have to have a background check. Our criminal background check is essential. As any of us would want, we'd want to know who is with our parents or our friends. And so we're very careful in scrutinizing who is allowed to become a volunteer ombudsman.
Now, any age? Is there an age requirement to become a volunteer?
Typically, we usually say probably at least 25, just because the younger folks are so involved with many other things. You know, a lot of times schooling, maybe raising kids, that sort of thing. The vast majority of our volunteers are 50 and plus. I have one gentleman in one of my areas that I believe is 89. He is a World War II vet. And so it's really, really neat, the diversity that we have in our volunteers.
Now, do you have a chance to help coach the volunteer before they go out and do this program?
Absolutely. One of the first things that we do after we get their screening back and I have a chance to talk to them to make sure that they are appropriate for our program is that they would attend a day-long training. And after that, we just don't send them out. I always make an appointment with a facility. They're only assigned one facility. That way they get to know the people, the facility gets to know them. I go with them, and it is an ongoing coaching, mentoring sort of process with our volunteers. We're always there for them. You know, some people are a little uncomfortable after even one visit. Well, we'll go out on a second or third just to make sure that they're comfortable with it. And our volunteer ombudsmen do not take the place of our professional regional ombudsman. We only have, I think, 17 in the whole state. Our professional ombudsman, like one of them I work with in my office, goes from Stevens Point, she goes all the way over to Black River Falls, and it's not just nursing homes. It's CBRFs, RCACs, different sorts of things, family care. But our volunteers only focus on one nursing home. And that way they can keep the professional ombudsman up to speed, you know, and identify any potential problems before they happen. And I guess the nice thing about that is too, we've had wonderful cooperation from our administrators, in this area, they want to know, they want to do the best for their residents. And sometimes we can bring things to their attention that they may not know of, and things can get corrected.
Today in the studio, we're talking about the Ombudsman program. I'm here with Suzanne, and she's with the state, and we have a chance to learn more about it. Suzanne, can people like the Ombudsman volunteers go into a home, or is it just for nursing homes and CHCs?
It's just nursing homes.
Okay.
It's not even the CBRS.
Okay.
It's just one nursing home. Depending on the size of the nursing home, there may be a couple volunteers, depending on the size. But typically, they only have one nursing home. That way, the people get to know them, the staff get to know them, and there's a real good rapport. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Let's talk about the people that they get to see. Are they happy to see you guys come in? Is it an excitement for the resident that lives there?
Oh yes, it's always so much fun to go in, because I make joint visits periodically with our volunteers just to see what's going on. And the way that the residents light up and they give a little business to the volunteer and the volunteer can give it back, they have a very good relationship. And also the residents know that they can speak to that ombudsman, to that volunteer ombudsman, to make sure things get happening. And they can alert them to things that are happening within the facility. So hopefully the volunteer can work with the facility to make sure that things are smoothed out. But they love it. And I guess one thing that I especially want to emphasize is that we are friendly, but we're not friendly visitors. There's a big distinction. Some people think when they sign up that they're going to go in and play Scrabble or bingo with the people. They're not. We're there, we have a mission, we have a purpose to make sure that the resident rights of the residents are protected.
So you come in unannounced, that's right.
Unannounced, 8 to 8.
And by law, you can do that. It's part of the state program.
That is part of the state program. I've never had to use it. There's some parts of the state who've had to have a letter from our our agency's attorney showing the facility that we have the right to be there.
Okay. So it's mandatory 7 hours of training by yourself or your staff.
And an ombudsman.
Okay. And they get a chance to come along with you before they go out on their own.
Oh, absolutely. We just don't want to just send somebody out, because that's kind of a prescription for failure. Our thing is we want our volunteers to succeed. And because if they succeed, the program's going to succeed, and then ergo, the residents are going to be happy and protected. A lot of people don't realize with resident rights, and that's what we're about, that when somebody moves into a nursing home, they do not lose their rights. For example, they have the right to vote. They have the right to maintain privacy. There's a lot of things like that people think just because they're going into a so-called institutional setting that they don't have those rights. Well, they definitely do, and that's one thing our volunteers are especially on top of, to make sure that those things are protected.
Is there anything to do with maybe a different kind of care, like adult care, or is it just in the nursing home again?
It's just in the nursing home.
All right.
Yep.
You're a part of the volunteer program at United Way. People can help, they can go through United Way to get involved with your program right here in Southwood County.
Absolutely, and we have had referrals, and which has worked out great. I get to talk to them, to fill out the applications, attend training, and it's a great partnership in that regard.
Okay, if someone wants to volunteer, just pick up the phone, give you a call. 1-800-815-0015. That is our toll-free number. I have a local number, Stevens Point number,
715-342-3086. They can call that, or they can go to the Board on Aging and Long-Term Care website, and then they can click on the volunteer program and get a hold of us in that regard. But it's really, really important work that we do. You know, some people, when they're in nursing homes, do not have any families in the area. And a lot of times families can advocate for their own residents, but these people that don't have anybody, we can really pick up the ball on that to help them.
Just to keep it confidential, has there been instances that when you've gone in that a volunteer has run into something and they had to report something in out the areas?
Oh yes, and I can just think of one, and it wasn't here in this area, and it's been a number of years ago. We got some kind of funny report back from a volunteer that a lady was having to pay extra for her hair because, you know, they have a beauty salon and everything. Turns out that raised a red flag with the Ombudsman, and she was in there right away. Turns out that somehow this person was double charging residents. And if it had not been for the volunteer, that may not have gone, you know, had not been fixed.
Exactly. Well, I'm looking at your website, which is the state website. People can go to it. Again, it's longtermcare.wi.gov, and that's at the bottom of your screen right now. So look at longtermcare.wi.gov, and right there you can go onto your program. There's plenty of stuff in here, and I'm right now looking at questions, frequently asked questions. And I'm just looking, there's about 8 of them here. Great information here. It says some minimum qualifications. What do you mean by minimum?
Minimum is, number one, they pass the background check. That is imperative. That they're willing to take our training and also attend in-services. We have in-services 3 times a year. And then, you know, we do a lot of one-on-one with people. So those are some of the minimum. And people do not have to have worked in long-term care. I've had a variety of people. I've had police officers. I've had, oh boy, beauticians, just a wide variety of people. It's people that care about the elderly. And a lot of times some of the people say, hey, I'm not too far away from being there, so I want to make sure the place is okay. So they want to be there to make sure that the place is good for them too if they have to go there.
Well, you're the volunteer coordinator. How long have you been in that position?
Almost 10 years. I was the first one in this area. The Volunteer Ombudsman program this year is 20 years old. And it started in Madison and up in Toma, or I should say Monroe County, and down in Racine. And from there, it's expanded.
So it's really growing, and it's really serving a great purpose here. And especially in our area here in Wisconsin Rapids, our population is aging, and they are going into some homes. So you're able to come in unannounced, but before that happens, the people that are working there, or maybe the managers, will know who you are anyway.
Yes, because that's one of the things when we do that introductory visit, we make sure that the administrator is there so we can make our introductions. And in most cases, that person introduces us to his or her management team so they know. We always wear a badge. Our volunteers wear a badge, as do I, identifying as a state of Wisconsin employee or volunteer in their case. So people are not surprised as who we are.
Well, this is a program that is funded by the state, is that correct? And how do can people support the program, or is it just funded by the state itself? Can local people help fund that?
No, I guess the best thing is how they can support it is if they've had associations with us, or we've helped a family member, let their legislators know. That's the best way. And if people are out there wondering how they can help, contact me, and we'll see if it would be a good fit.
Well, you're always looking for volunteers. It says that right now. Take as many as you could get right now. Is that correct?
Right. And sometimes we have a waiting list. But we do oftentimes have, all of a sudden somebody resigns when I least expect it. But one good thing is I've had very, very good retention. We've had great volunteers who do wonderful work here.
Now, if someone wants to come and see you in person, where do they find you?
Over in Stevens Point. I'm out on Highway 10. They could give me a call. We could set up an appointment because sometimes I'm in and out because I'm going out with our volunteers, but I'd be happy to have them stop by our office and I can give them other material. And I guess too, if they have questions about nursing homes in general, we also have a lot of information that can be given to them.
Now, there is a little bit difference of the Ombudsman program. There's that program, and then you're ahead of the volunteer portion.
Right.
So there is a professional part of it, which is really kind of what you're heading kind of a professional part, but you're the volunteer coordinator.
Yes.
So I'm seeing two parts, so they need to go to the volunteer part.
Right. And our volunteer ombudsman, we say, act as the eyes and the ears for our regional ombudsman, our professional ombudsman, because they can't be everywhere, and they can't certainly be in any nursing home every day, every week, because they have so many facilities on their own. So we have a great partnership in that respect.
And this is part of the Board on Aging, is that correct? That's where it's underneath the Board on Aging. And that is a program, the Board on Aging, Central Wisconsin, is that correct, or
Nope.
just Stevens Point?
That's the state. That's the state of Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's our Board on Aging, and we have 3 prongs. We have our ombudsman, we've got our volunteer ombudsman, and we also have the Medigapers.
All right.
And that's the people that will assist people with their questions about Medicare and their insurances and that sort of thing. A lot of people don't realize we do that. It's a great program for people that are questioning which way they need to go. So,
yeah, it's called Medigap, and that's another state part of the program. And they can call 1-800-242-1060. That's what I'm getting on this. It's a helpline
for the Medigapers.
for the Medigappers.
Yeah.
So since we did talk about it, it's a Medigap, 1-800-242-1060. So I thought that would be a good thing to
Yes, it
bring up.
is, because we have so many people ask us questions about that.
It has a lot of stuff under here, and I'm reading this right now on my iPad here. It tells you everything from any kind of insurance questions, prescription drugs. What a great resource. So they can go to this again website or call you.
Yep.
I think you would help them people get
I
to the
could
right
get
area.
them. I could get them to the right people, because this is a very, very confusing part of daily living after you turn 65.
Right, and your parents might be gone, and you don't have any family left, and this is a way to turn. And you guys are here, your volunteers, to help that along.
Right.
Some questions, but again, you're not there to come in and play games, and
No.
that's really for some other program.
Yep. A lot of times, nursing homes themselves have volunteer programs where they do that kind of thing. But we're there. Our agency is there to help people, and we're really a direct, hands-on sort of program. We're not consultants or anything like that. We're there down in the trenches helping people.
Well, next month the Volunteer Center is actually recognizing some volunteers. In the past, you've been recognized there and have been there. Are you planning to come back again?
Well, I hope so. We've got to see about that. But yeah, I can't believe it's almost April.
It's almost April. Doesn't feel like it, though.
No.
We're taping this in March, early part of March, and there's quite a bit of snow on the ground. So.
Yeah, could be snow in April.
Yep. Well, I appreciate you coming down and really sharing that information to me and our viewers. I think it's going to be great. They want to get involved in this Ombudsman program or just learn more about it for a loved one. give you a call down at your place.
Absolutely, Tom, and really appreciate you having us on your program today.
Great, appreciate it. Well, thanks for watching Community Connections here on RCCA, and we'll see you next time.